Am I in the wrong for refusing to let my wife's friend come over anymore after what happened during their night out, even though it's causing drama? Posted by you/throwaway 2761551. My wife is 27 and I am 28. My wife has a friend, close friend. She's been friends with her for the past 2 years. I don't like her at all, and honestly, many people find her unpleasant to be around. She has a way of being loud and pushy that makes social situations uncomfortable. This weekend, my wife told me she was going to her friend's house to spend the evening and night there with two other friends. I asked her if they would be drinking, and she said yes, but promised she wouldn't go overboard this time. She also told me she'd book a ride and come home before 10 p.m. I told her that instead of booking a ride, I would come pick her up myself, and I asked her not to drink too much. She promised me she wouldn't drink excessively, but I had a nagging feeling that she might because my wife tends to overdrink when she's excited or partying with friends. To make sure everything was okay, I decided to pick her up an hour earlier than planned. When I arrived at her friend's house, the scene was chaotic. There were drunk women dancing, drinking heavily, and shouting as if they had no sense of control. My wife was lying on the couch, clearly very drunk and unable to move around much. I immediately grabbed my wife and told her it was time to leave. Her friends tried to stop me and insisted that my wife stay longer. Even my wife asked me to wait for a bit before taking her home. I told them that they had been partying for hours already and that it was more than enough for one night. It wasn't safe for my wife to stay in that condition. When I tried to leave with my wife, her friend stepped in front of me and tried to stop me physically. She became forceful and pushed me when I didn't listen to her demands. She then accused me of being controlling and shouted insults at me in front of everyone there. Her behavior was completely unacceptable. I stayed calm despite this confrontation because we were in her house, and she is a woman. However, I made it clear that from this moment forward, she is banned from my house entirely. I told her that if she ever comes over to my house again, I will call the police without hesitation. I left with my wife and brought her home safely. After we got home, I fed her some food, but unfortunately, she vomited later in the night due to how much alcohol she had consumed. She didn't sleep until midnight and kept hugging me repeatedly while saying my husband over and over again. She also complimented me throughout the night. To be honest, while it was exhausting dealing with her drunken state, I did enjoy the affection she showed me afterward because it reminded me how much she loves me despite everything. Now, however, her friends are all messaging me saying that I'm being a controlling husband and accusing me of having no right to tell my wife what she can or cannot do. They're also saying I don't have the right to ban her friend from our house. Am I wrong here? Sure, I'm upset about what happened, but my anger isn't without reason. If people think I'm controlling in this situation, then so be it. I believe what I did was necessary for my wife's safety and well-being. Update, April 12th, 2025. First off, thank you to everyone who gave advice on my original post. I didn't expect it to blow up like it did. When I saw that there were over 6K comments on my post, I stopped reading them so I could focus on taking care of my wife instead. After logging back in later on, I read through as many comments as possible, but couldn't get through them all due to the sheer volume. Many people asked about whether or not my behavior is controlling when it comes to drinking. And yes, when it comes to alcohol consumption specifically, I do monitor things closely because of how vulnerable my wife becomes when she drinks excessively. To clarify, I don't let my drunk wife grab a ride alone back home because it's unsafe for someone in that state to travel alone late at night. If she ever calls me while drunk, even if I'm at work, I will leave work immediately to pick her up because ensuring her safety is more important than anything else at that moment. This isn't about being controlling. It's about taking care of someone you love when they're vulnerable. If she's sober or capable of handling herself responsibly during social events or daily life activities, I have no need to intervene like this. After we talked about everything that happened at her friend's house, including how much trouble excessive drinking has caused, my wife admitted she hadn't realized how much stress she was putting on me by drinking so often during social events or even casually at home. She agreed with me that drinking occasionally is fine as long as it's done in moderation rather than excess. Since then, she hasn't been drinking nearly as much. She had one drink yesterday after almost a week without alcohol and didn't go overboard like before. My wife also said she plans on seeking counseling or medical treatment if necessary to help manage any issues related to drinking habits moving forward. Am I controlling? Yes, when it comes specifically to alcohol consumption, but only because excessive drinking has led to situations where both my wife's health and our relationship have been negatively impacted. I love my wife deeply, and despite everything, we continue showing love for each other every day through small gestures like hugs or compliments, even if some moments are embarrassing. While I'm not a professional counselor or doctor, I've started encouraging healthier habits like regular exercise routines alongside taking multivitamins daily. which seems helpful so far.